Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome to Devotions today. Standing in the most beautiful place back in Lambert's Bay, just checking on the gyms and everything down here, the Genesis stuff. Beautiful place, this where you see the amazing thing of nature, where the cold wind comes off this very cold sea, meets with the hot air coming off the land, and you end up with this incredibly thick mist that can come up in a flash and a blur. Just now it was clear, and now it's all misty, kind of like life. Things can change. Well, I want to talk to you about finishing this race that we're talking about right now. This race is coming toward an end, and just want to clinch it by saying a few things. We're talking about the passion of what it means to keep running. What keeps people going? What is it that sustains them through the ups and downs of ministry, of life, of Christian living, and all of the challenges that go therewith? We've looked at a couple of them, but I want to add one more thing to you. You know, I just remember, and I was never the greatest athlete, but I got to run in a few relay races in my time. And at the change of batons, there was always an interesting dynamic that I noticed. When you change the baton with the runner that's coming behind you, and you've got to take it from him, there's one thing that you notice about that runner is the fanatical determination on their faces. And in a sense, as they look at you and they pass this baton, they're saying, man, I've run my guts out. I've done the best I can. And I'm going to trust all that effort and all that pain and all of that passion. I'm going to trust it over to you in this little baton. You better run well the race that has been set before us. And I remember full well looking back at it, the guy's face behind me, and I'm the last runner to take this baton, and I'm thinking, for goodness sake, don't drop it. Don't drop the baton after all of his effort. Don't drop the baton after all the passion of the previous runners. But I've got to tell you in a very amazing way that sense is passed on onto the next runner as you look back and see the passion of the previous runner. Now in the Bible, we see a number of people who ran this race. We see the beauty of Abraham passing it on to Isaac, and Isaac passing it on to Jacob, and Jacob passing it on to Joseph, and Joseph passing it on to the children of Israel, and Moses passing the baton on to Joshua, and Joshua passing the baton on to all those people that were to follow, and the list continues and continues, from the kings to the prophets to the priests ultimately to John the Baptist. And John the Baptist, we know, ran well. He picked up the passion, and he in fact heightened it when he passed that baton to Jesus. God's last hope for the redemption of mankind was passed to Jesus. And I'm sure as Jesus looked back over the past runners, that he would have thought, man, those guys have run well the race. I don't want to drop it. I don't want to mess it up. Not that Jesus could do anything like that. But then the question is, what happened after that? Jesus ran well the race, ended with him fulfilling his mission, fulfilling his purpose, albeit to hang upon a cross. But it was this final nail in Satan's tomb and his coffin, and the final glory for us as believers. Well, let me ask, where does that baton go from there? Well, we know that Jesus passed that baton and that responsibility to 12 other men. And he said, guys, run well this race. Those 12 men passed it to the first century church passed it to the second, and you've guessed it, you know where I'm going, that at the end that baton was passed to you and to me today. And the question is, how well are we running with this baton? Have we dropped it? Maybe if we have, we need to go back and pick it up. There's a lot at stake here. But let's make sure that we carry the baton of the gospel of Christ well to pass to the next generation. I don't know whether it's just because I'm of the age that I am, that I'm thinking a lot about the next generation. And I want to finish well the race, and I want to pass the responsibility on to the next generation as best as I possibly can, with the hopes and the prayers that they will do better than me, that they will run incredibly well this race, to take it to a total new level, and that they will pass it on to their kids and their kids to their kids. But here's the challenge for you people. Listen carefully. You know, we as parents have got to leave a legacy behind. And our legacy will speak a lot about who we are, what we stood for, what our values were, what the principles were that we considered to be important. And those kids are going to have to carry that on from us. Every generation does the same thing. Every church leadership does the same thing. Every organization out there does the same thing. This is nothing new. But the question is, with it comes a huge responsibility. Let's make sure, people, that we pass on well and they pick up the passion of ours. And they say, man, my dad ran with that passion. My uncle, my church, my business ran with a passion, and I'm going to heighten that passion, and I'm going to do even better. I look back and I see the passion of our previous runners in the church, which I'm glad to serve in. I see the passion of the previous runners. I see the passion of the present runners as well, and I'm excited to hand that thing over. But think about that. The passion of the previous runners is a wonderful incentive to help us to keep going and to make sure that we run well this race. You guys are going to have a great day now. Bye-bye.